building a business around a personal brand. What does that process really, really look like? Over the last decade, I've done this over and over again with my dad, with Dr. Eric Berg, I've helped people like Damon John, myself, my own business, my own marketing agencies built around my content. What does that process really entails? And does it happen overnight? Is it going to happen very quickly? In this strategy session, I go over that particular process and we go a little bit deep. We go spiritual and I give you a lot of practical advice that you can probably implement to your own process as you start building your business. Check it out. Tell me a little bit about your boutique and tell me what you're struggling with and how can I help you?
Actually, my daughter was a motivating factor behind it. She started a online boutique, but she actually has more face-to-face interactions as she has a little storefront. But it was something that I probably always wanted to do, but during quarantine, it gave me something to do. So I went out on a limb and I said, let me start it. And I think marketing, I would say my website has been the most difficult thing because I'm not someone who is always constantly on social media. So I'm building that now. And I don't always know who it is that I'm friending or interacting with or whatever. So it's hard to know who to target, how to target them. But in my mind, the idea was to things that I like and am passionate about, which is, well, right now you can't tell because kind of I'm on lunch working my 9 to 5, but business-wise, I'm passionate about fashion, all forms, whether it's hair, clothing, makeup, shoes. I'm obsessed with. So I was like, okay, try to put together a few things. So I kind of like have accessories, it's some of everything, handbags, a little of this, little of that, and now I have all of these products that they're here. So of course I wanted to develop into something more and broader. And my idea is that like one-stop shop. You go, you can get your entire outfit, the hair, wig, whatever it is that you want in one session on one site. So don't know if it's a little too far-fetched, but I'm giving it a go. September will probably be a year since I started it.
Right. Nothing is too far-fetched as long as you have the energy to put in the work. That's the reality. The one thing to understand is what that journey looks like. And I'm glad you have a 9 to 5. It's important because that's how we all start. All successful entrepreneurs, they have a 9 to 5 at some point. And they didn't stop that 9 to 5 until they had something on solid ground already rolling. So it's the right thing to do. Continue your passion outside those hours. And there's a lot of potential, but you got to understand the journey, what it takes, and what are the opportunities right now. So you're looking to create a sort of a full service for females, correct? To come and get the style upside down, top to bottom, all of it, right? You have a website already?
Yes.
Okay. That's you, huh?
Yes, it is when I'm done up.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, my first advice is that you need to get a much simpler website address.
Okay.
Much simpler. All right. So I don't know if you can find Dyna.com, Diva.com. You need to avoid people getting confused, just like I did right now, trying to find out what your website is. I ended up seeing an option on Google. So my number one advice is to find something that people can relate very easily and type in, and they can remember it. Because the websites, the long-term value of a website is also the branding. You got Google.com, you got Apple.com. It's something very simple to remember. So it's not going to help you accelerate your growth, but that would be a basic, a fundamental that I would make sure you have in place before you go too deep in this area. If I go to a place like GoDaddy, Dyna Divas, look at that. .net available, .org available. Apparently .com is taking. DynaDivas.me. I mean, I definitely want to stick with .com, .net. .net is not a terrible option, but check it out. Wait a second. Look at this. Your domain is available. So 𝗙𝗢𝗥𝗡.com is available. So if I added this to cart, yeah, it's available. Look, go ahead and purchase it before I purchase it. You can purchase it for $37. All right, $37. And you can keep that domain and then renew it once a year for apparently it's going to be somewhere around $10, $15 to renew it every year.
Okay.
But you don't need to do anything deeper than that. You can just try to avoid other words along the way. So I will give you that advice. Go ahead and purchase that website, 𝗙𝗢𝗥𝗡.com. Very easy to remember. The social media roadmap is full of opportunity, but it's only full of opportunity for those people that decide to work hard. And I think that you are a hard worker. Are you a hard worker yourself?
I absolutely am. I've been with the same organization for 18 years.
That's great. That's loyalty, consistency. Absolutely. That's fantastic. Yes. So you have what it takes to succeed in this environment, but you got to know what that road looks like. In social media, you got to be everywhere for as long as possible at the highest quality possible. You're not going to build a successful business in the first few months. Generally, it takes a few years, Dinah, just given the expectations. Correct expectations, it takes a few years before you actually start taking off, but it really pays off. That's why the journey really is you keeping your 9 to 5 while you build your passion. You don't waste any time. You build your business outside your 9 to 5, and you keep doing that consistently. And in order for you to build a business, you're doing the right thing. For example, right now you're here with me. I have built many successful businesses over the years. And I can tell you one thing, the reason why most people fail is because they don't acquire enough knowledge. They simply don't have enough information. They think they know best. They think they know more than everybody else. They already feel that they're entitled for success, and they don't understand what it really takes to succeed. There's 3 words over here that I like to use to train my own staff that show really what that process looks like. Number 1, obsessive acquisition of knowledge. You got to get knowledge. You got to be consuming Daymond John's content, his YouTube videos that talk about business and positioning and branding. You got to consume people like my content that are teaching you about marketing and social media and advertising and strategies. And you got to consume that all day long. And a lot of this content, Dinah, it doesn't even cost you any money. It's free because we're living on the information age in which you have unlimited access to content. Pretty much unlimited, in which you can educate yourself if you have the intention. So the number 1 word is knowledge, obsessive acquisition of knowledge. In the early stages, right now I'm generating this year alone, 2021, we're going to end up doing all the brands that I manage, probably close to $200 million in revenue. 10 years ago, I was broke. I didn't have anything. What is the one factor that changed everything? I was hungry. And I wanted success. So I obsessed over acquiring knowledge. And then I obsess over implementing that knowledge. So number 1 word, knowledge. Number 2 word, implementation. Implementation. Because a lot of people spend their lives studying, but then they don't get to implement. And we end up in the same exact spot. There's people out there in the system, in our society, that have graduated from very fancy college educations, and they're not surviving. And many times, Dinah, you will see that these guys are actually getting a job in places that have absolutely nothing to do with what they got trained in. So it's a combination of knowledge and obsessive implementation of that knowledge. Some things are going to work. Some things are not going to work, and you got to keep on going. The other factor, the other variable about knowledge that I want you to keep in mind is that you got to get the right knowledge about what's working today. Right now, you got to get knowledge about the platforms that are dominating attention. And those platforms are about 12 of them: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube, Google. It's not that many of them. You got to understand these platforms because the more you capture attention, it's directly related to how much money you make. So if Dinah Divas is not making enough money, the answer is very simple. You're simply not getting enough attention, Dinah. It's all about attention. The game is attention. So much so that I actually named my company AGM. And you can see it here behind me. That logo, AGM, stands for Attention Grabbing Media. We are obsessed with attention because I already realized a long time ago that in order for me to generate more revenue, I already knew that I had a good product. I already knew I had a good service. In order for me to generate more revenue, I just needed to get more attention. These platforms are the crucial element that is going to help you get the attention that you need to get divas to take off. You got to get on them. So if you have a 9 to 5, Dinah, the rest of the time, whether that's before 9 o'clock a.m. or after, you got another 4, 5, 6, 7 hours before you go to sleep. I don't know what your schedule looks like. You should be obsessively acquiring knowledge, and you should be obsessively implementing that knowledge. There's one word in the world of social media that I like to use a lot, and that's called omnipresence, which means you want to be like God as much as possible in social media. You want to be everywhere, and you want to start communicating. So if you have a 9 to 5, but outside your hours, you're working on design, you're working on your brand, you're working on helping females feel empowered, you're working on your website and your products and all those things, you need to be talking about this a lot. And you don't have to invest advertising at this stage of the game. At this stage, it's about communication. You got to communicate enough. If you communicate enough, at some point, you're going to get enough business. At some point, you're going to have people pay attention. One important element, Dinah, that I want you to keep in mind is that you cannot be concentrated on the attention that you're getting back, because that first year, as you're pumping out content, as you're opening up your phone and doing a Facebook Live, as you're doing a YouTube episode, as you're talking about your brand on TikTok, as you're creating content for Instagram, that first year is more about you than it is about your audience. You got to go for a process in which you're discovering your own voice and you're also feeling comfortable with yourself. So that first year, you're not stressed out financially because you ideally have your 9 to 5 job that pays for your bills, that puts food on the table while you're building your passion. Some people this is such an important point, Diana, because a lot of people, they see a successful entrepreneur and they do not see the journey. And if you go back to the beginning of that journey, everybody went through exactly what you're going through right now. You have a job, you're trying to put food on the table, you have responsibilities right now, but you have your passion and you have a dream. Yeah. We were all on the same exact boat. All you got to do is keep on that particular road and don't give up on your passion and keep on going. And sooner or later, because failure doesn't really exist, only lack of persistence does exist. Sooner or later, you will start getting going. And that could be in 6 months, that could be in a year, that could be in 2 years. It depends on you. There's a number of variables that we don't have time to get into, but the more you put energy into it, the more power you put into it, the more passion, the more dedication you put into it, the faster you're going to get there. It's quite powerful. It really is. If you're enjoying this content, please go ahead and subscribe. Help me comment below and let me know if you have any questions about marketing. And I'm on a mission to help as many of you as possible conquer the marketing world. So help me out. Subscribe, hit that button, hit that bell, get notified. We're going heavy with content in this 2021 year and beyond. Go ahead and subscribe right now.